I'll take it for your word.
My dog has a very distinctive growl and bark, and they mean two different things.
Yeah, all right, I agree with you with that. Yeah, I see that. I see that. Dogs. Now that you say it, yeah, dogs do make different sounds. They do make different sounds.
Yeah, that thing you're talking about in the birds is basically the same thing, and our vocal cords do the same thing too. Which is why, like, some people can scream. People scream versus people talking. Mm-hmm. They're actually two different things. If you listen to like acapella, like you hear multiple different ranges. Like the people with the higher frequency voice are using completely different like areas than a person singing from a lower voice. Like they have an entirely different structure for that than the bird does.
Right.
That's true. And also, by the way, I would just add one thing, and that sometimes got perks. And they can actually express themselves through a completely different set of emotions that you can basically observe through their behaviors. Same goes for dogs and from other pets. Like a dog doesn't have to just bark. Dog also wiggles his tail, and there is a completely a different bark if that means that you are enemy, and there is a completely different bark when it goes like you are my neighbor and I'm happy to see you.
Right.
Yeah, like
dog
animals' behaviors can be expressed through completely different lenses. So no, it's not just one fucking sound for pet animal.
Oh, I think many of us are familiar with like if your dog barks for like someone's approaching your house and your dog barks, you say, "Hey, somebody's coming." Yeah. It's different to when your dog barks in actual
Well, and even beyond just the bark itself being different, like that would be like the same sound, just different tones. Like a dog can bark to alert, but also like if it's trying to get your attention, it can whine. Like it can whine at you, and then also at the same time, if it's angry, it can growl. Like that's a whole range of sounds. So, like, I think that would defeat. Would you accept that would defeat your segmentation that you were trying to do for the birds and everything else?
Yeah, it can growl, it can whine, it can whoa.
PM, we just made the point. We don't need to reiterate the point.
Sorry.
Yeah, wagging the tail means it's laughing. Right, that's interesting. Right, so there's basic communication, like a very.
Well, that's body language. That's different than the sounds. This was just about the fact that they can make different sounds to express different points to express different things.
Yeah, it's a basic expression, a very rudimentary expression. Like anything more complicated than that, like the different two species won't be able to, as far apart as we are, we won't be able to understand each other. But at a very rudimentary level. Right, there could be some basic rudimentary form of.
Yeah, but as the Yandol said earlier, that can be the basic difference between somebody speaking in Scottish or Gaelic to me, who doesn't understand either, and me being able to get basic emotions but not being able to get the nuance. Like, it's no different.
Could I just say that, like, I think Delivery Guy said that he had never had a pet or,
Yeah, he actually said it.
No, I watch movies where dogs make all different types of sounds. So now you guys are right.
Well, no, I know that, but like you get to like, we had a dog for many years, like 18 years, and
okay, come here.
Yeah, well, he had like so many ways to communicate. Yeah,
my cat was just communicating with me that it wanted to lay in my lap, so I had to sit down so it could lay in my lap.
Yeah, sure. Look.
Like my parents' dog could do a sort of like a like that. He was tired of this. He'd give it another It was a sort of a grunt, but like we all knew it meant, yeah, whatever. I'm just doing my own thing. But like he was actually very communicative overall.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good point. But I would say that if you actually live with an animal, like when you actually live with it, you need to understand the point that it's not like always comfortable for you to actually deal with the animal in that moment. Like if you have a pet, the pet actually has obviously. I know this sounds like super stupid, but they have their needs, and their needs need to be met, and that means they have to use their bathroom or whatever. But basically, you need to actually understand that you living with somebody who has their whole independent mind, and yeah, sometimes they just sit on your lap and you can pet them, but they also have like things to do for themselves. And you have to understand that. You have to know how to let them out, how to let them in, how to give them their food that you choose to give them for them to live with you. No, actually, like say, okay, I'm a cat and I'm maybe not independent on you because you don't feed me, so I will live you with your neighbor, which can happen on the village. The point is that you have to actually adjust your needs to them in certain way, if you understand. It's like this is a relationship. It's not just me telling this is a kitten, and this kitten eats when I tell it to eat, because no, they won't. It's like, yeah, okay, this is a kitten that I actually have in my care, and he's like, he likes to be pet. I don't know, in the evening, it actually likes to have his evening meal in those hours, stuff like that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Kind of not.
Like you have to
I think
collide with that animal. Make sense? Yeah, maybe not.
I think your English fell apart a little bit. I kind of understand what you're saying. I think your English fell apart a little bit at the end because your brain was moving too fast, trying to gather your thoughts. I couldn't really understand what you're saying at the end there, but
Yeah, maybe. Well, the point is that if you have an animal as a pet, you have to understand it, and you have to actually understand it well. Um, if
I do
you
wonder. I do wonder
never,
in this conversation, VM. Sorry, in this conversation, I do wonder that, like, like what you were saying, right? You have a relationship if you keep a pet, and there are behaviors that are learned or come about. But I suspect that these are not always the same between pet to pet. I mean, one pet might decide that putting their paw on the door is enough to be let out. Another pet might decide that running against the door might be the signal to get out.
I was gonna say, one of my dogs, like when it wanted something from us, it would sneeze at us, and the other dog is scared to death of sneezes, and so like whenever it wants to get out, it just barks at us. Like, I mean, different things.
Okay.
Oh, can I tell a very quick story? My aunt used to have a dog, and the dog had a place to stay in the very end of the house, an empty room, and the dog used to run up the tiled hallway all the time. There was like these half round 3-legged tables that lots of people have in their hallway. The dog would run up the hallway every day, and because it was tiled and the dog had claws, it would slide and crash into the table every day. And like it would get up and at the table and like go into the go into the sitting room.
Okay.
But like there was another door that came out of the kitchen that also went past the same table. And every time the dog would come out of the kitchen and would realize that the half circle table that it ran into every morning was there, it would look at the table and go, like it was blaming the table for the fact that the table hit it every morning. Like, no, stupid fucking dog, you run up every morning, you slide on the tiles, you crash into the table. This inanimate object is not the problem.
Okay, fair enough. If that information was actually not crystal clear enough, I would say that every animal that you actually has as a pet has a completely different way of communicating with you. Some of them are basically much more subtle, and some of them are extremely bold. And yeah, precisely. Some of them are like just pat on your knee, their paw on your knee, and please give me. And some of them will just scream in your face.
Yeah, my thing would be that they will probably tend towards broadly being similar. I was just saying, like, sometimes certain communications could be altered.
And I can tell you that the 20 plus cats that I actually have through my life are all over the place, and some of them were very subtle, and some of them were very, very loud. And some of them was like just completely ignoring me and was like, you want to feed me? I do not care. You fuck yourself. Like, I'm the wild hunter, and I do my business by my own. And that was like four of them in that way. So, yeah, you can get a completely different reaction from the animal. And it doesn't.
Yeah, but what Yandolf is trying to say. Well, what Yandolf is trying to say is that, like, in general, like, all dogs that once you house train them, they all have a basic signal to go outside.
Yeah,
like
sure.
That's not aggressive. It's not super freaking. I want to go. Like, some of them are just hyper, but like in general, like the I want to go outside is a simple conveyed message through some sort of an action. And for some dogs, you can train it to be them knocking a little bell on the door, or like I said, for mine, it might be sneezing, or it might be barking, or it might be coming up to you and putting their paw on you, or whatever.
Yeah, fair enough.
My friends Jack Russell used to put his paw on the door and like drag it down slowly, which made a kind of a scratching noise. Like, but he would do that just like very gently. But if you didn't respond, it was more aggressive. I was like, this Jack Russell is so fucking smart. It's like,
my dog, for example, will sit here and will go absolutely apeshit. But not until, like, it'll ask me for food. But as soon as I go to the food bin, it starts like spinning around and doing all sorts of shit, going apeshit. Like, it doesn't get that excitement level until I've already acknowledged and doing what it wants.
Yeah. When I used to go over and stay in my, because like I like to, at the weekends, right? I would like to treat myself to a cooked breakfast. But very often particularly when my mother was sick, I used to go over to our home house, and the dog learned that like when I came over to the home house, like I would cook up some rashers and stuff like that, but I don't eat the rasher rind. I don't like it.